Good morning, everyone. It's James Carpenter with Country Living. I'm going to start a little Christmas gift, actually two of them. I have two daughters, and I want to make them a one of them little chests, jewelry chest, and I just think that's going to be pretty cool that I can custom build something that they can cherish for the rest of their lives. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about woodworking because I'm going to be honest with you. I can work with my hands. I'm what they call a jack of all trades. I've done a little bit of everything. My primary focus has been the automotive repair business that I've ran for over 30 years now. But my passion is woodworking. So as a kid, my dad obviously worked us kids. We were helpers, and I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot about working with wood. Most of that was more rough type construction, not necessarily this fine art stuff here, like furniture making and so on. I ended up gaining all that knowledge, and it was very helpful, trust me. And my experience with the finer side of this is a little bit weak. So all these YouTube videos I watched, they're helping me out tremendously. And a couple of the things that I found on these videos, I subsequently will use those ideas, and they will assist me, especially some of the jigs and fixtures that I can make. But more importantly, I've watched quite a few videos on the different clamps and so on like that, and they were all leaning towards Harbor Freight for some of this stuff. So let me start with this basically 24-inch clamp. Now, I watched a YouTube video on that where they take and they put a strip of wood in here to make this stronger. But I'm going to be honest with you, this is actually pretty rigid, and I've got some pretty strict standards, and to me this is acceptable the way it is. So I purchased 4 of these. I also purchased, I didn't have to purchase this. I could have went back to the automotive repair shop. There's a couple of them back there. I could have took one of those. Now, in the auto repair business, this is a very handy tool for cleaning up gasket surfaces and things like that. But as you can see, I've got a sandpaper disc on here, and this is just going to be extremely convenient for me to touch things up and so on. Okay, I also picked up 4 of these. I had 3 of them that I had bought at yard sales, or basically everybody knows me as a Habitat guy. I got them from my Habitat connection, to be honest with you, but that's yard sale type stuff because of the price. So I got 4 of these plus the 3 I already had, and these are for securing corners. And then one that I really like, this is called a band clamp. It goes all the way around what you're clamping, and it has these plastic pieces for the corners. I believe this is going to be a sweet little investment here. I also picked up some more of these. I like these hooks. They're magnetic, as you can see. And I've got that shipping container, and I've got steel shelves, so you can stick one of these anywhere and hang something. They're great. They come in 4 packs. And I bought 3 4-packs. I had already had a bunch of them. I think in a previous video I showed how I use those to hang lights in the shipping container. I basically took this out and put the fastener for the light on here and put a screw in it. It worked great. I didn't have to put any holes in my shipping container, just stuck the lights up there magnetically. Now this project that I'm working on for my two daughters, and I basically, as you can see, I've cut the materials yesterday. I went to Walmart and I found this. Okay, so basically, if you watched my video where I built that other box, that was definitely a learning curve. I'm sure I can do a better job on these two jewelry boxes because I learned a lot from that. But what's going to happen is once I build the box, I'll router a section of it out, because these boards, they're 3/4 of an inch thick. So I'll take 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and that will allow the base of this to set down in the jewelry box. So you'll open the lid and you'll be able to pick this out, and then you'll have space underneath. So I got those. Oh, I got the knobs. Just happened to be going through Walmart and I found these two like cupboard door knobs. They were smaller than normal, which would be more appropriate for the jewelry box. So I'll be putting those on there. So what I'm gonna do today is I got to put a router. I got to router out a groove all the way around for the base to slide in and be glued in. And then of course, it's the same as last time. I'll be double stacking, so the jewelry box will wind up, you know, about that thick. The lid, I've got some ideas for the lid that are pretty cool, but we'll look at those when we get closer. So with that being said, let me get started on the router and get a couple things taken care of. Okay, I've managed to make a few rookie mistakes, and as you can see, the length of this end piece was too long. I still have a good box there I can use for something else. So what I did is I got my measurements correct. Now you see this piece of plywood, it actually, you see that groove right there, it slides into that groove and kind of like tongue and grooves the base, and I'll glue that in. And then I've got some ideas for, instead of using some type of fasteners here, which there's not too many choices, I'm going to take this, obviously I'll cut it down to about where my thumb is, and then I can use not only glue, but I can use staples to hold it together. And then once this is totally done, I'll add the second layer. And in all actuality, I'm building two of them. Over here are all the parts. This is everything it takes. You'll notice I put top on there, and I put bottom on this piece. Now the reason I did that is because of this over here. Mainly this right here. All these pieces were cut wrong. It was confusing for me, and again, I'm an amateur. I'm learning here, and obviously when I learn something, I retain it and use it for future reference. So overall, I think I'm doing okay. Let me glue this together. Okay, I got it all glued together, and this is what it's looking like. Now you can see those corners, they turned out pretty nice. And I've actually got to show you all four, because what I'm noticing on some of the YouTube videos I watch, it's very difficult to get all four. Okay, my battery died right before this clip. So I'm going to finish up with the box. You can see where I glued the little corners in there so that I didn't have to shoot brad nails through here. So aesthetically that'll look a little better. You got one in each corner. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. I did run into another problem with this. I had so many cuts and recuts that there was a little lip right here. So I took the hand planer and I went across there and got that straightened out. Now, I did start working on the lid. It's actually, I just finished tightening down all these clamps. But you can see the lid, I recessed this panel down in here to give it a kind of a look. Through the process, I'm finding that when you do a 45 on a longer stretch like that, it's a little more difficult to get them to line up, but I did the best I could do. Another thing I did this morning is I started the second jewelry box, and it's got the band clamp on it now. The corners and everything on it are looking pretty good. I'm going to let that dry overnight. I'm going to let the lid dry overnight. And then I can start fitting the lid to that other box. The first one. And it's going to be real close to being complete. Now remember, this little organizer I picked up at Walmart will set down in there. And if you can imagine that lid, pick it up, you got that. If you want to get underneath it, you just take this out. So I think we're well on our way. The lid, it didn't turn out quite as good as I wanted it to. As you can see here, it don't look half bad, but it's bad, trust me. I set the lid on here and it's warped. And I gotta be honest with you, it's warped because it was a rookie mistake. One of the things I learned on YouTube is keeping it flat. So what I've done is, well, first of all, I've changed my mind. Instead of having this, the top will look more like this. So I've glued and clamped all these together, and then I put this big clamp on here. And that's holding pressure down to keep everything flush. I also took the time to put the second layer on these guys, the second jewelry box. So that's in the process of drying. I've even got my things in the corner down there. So it looks like it's going to be another day at this point, because this is going to have to dry before I can start working on the lids. But I'm pretty certain that tomorrow will be the day I finish. The other thing is, I went to Home Depot yesterday and I picked up 2 more hinges. And I picked up these little bitty screws. Now they're only a 1/2 inch long, and I don't have anything in all my inventory. And I'll be going into less than 3/4 inch thick lid, so I don't want them poking through the other side. And then I picked up these little peel and stick cushions, which I'll place those on the corners, and that'll just help with the lid slamming shut. Okay, I've got one done, and you're looking at it here. I put a little fancy look here on the sides. That router I got from the Habitat connection, the bits are pretty cheap, and that's why you see the burn marks you see on here. And I ran it through as slow as I could possibly run it. We'll open it up. This is the inside. That's the tray, so you can put stuff underneath. And then obviously you close the lid. And you can look, there's a little bit of play in the hinge, but look how everything lines up. I'm calling this precision work for an amateur. Not bad at all. There's the hinge across the back, piano hinge. I've got all the screws in here. Now you might like what I did here. You'll notice this screw's different. I oversized the hole in this metal plate of the hinge so that I'd have some wiggle room to adjust. And I did need to adjust just a little bit. So that worked out pretty good. Okay. So there it is. Now, the other one, I'm not going to finish in this video because it's been almost 2 weeks since I've got a video out. So I need to finish this one up on my own. And then let me show you the rookie mistake on this lid. Can you see it? Right there. Okay, well, it turned out in my favor because the router gave me a hard way to go and kind of messed up this area right here anyhow. So what I've done is I'm gluing together my next lid, and hopefully I may try something different other than that router, unless I can go buy a more expensive bit that's not going to dull out after a few runs. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, I'm an amateur. I've got a little bit of skill, but I think I'm doing all right. I appreciate you watching. Have a great day.